Ed Edwards' top 10 real Atlanta child murderer. Welcome, true crime enthusiasts. Today we delve into one of the most controversial and spine-chilling theories in criminal history. Was Ed Edwards, a notorious serial killer, actually the real Atlanta child murderer? Imagine the implications if a single man was responsible for the terror that gripped Atlanta in the late 1970s and early 1980s. In this riveting countdown, we will explore the top 10 most shocking facts about Ed Edwards and the Atlanta child murders from 10 to 1. Prepare for a journey filled with suspense and revelation as we uncover the dark connections and startling evidence that suggest Edwards' involvement in this infamous case. Let's dive into the murky waters of conspiracy and truth to see if we can piece together the puzzle of Ed Edwards and the Atlanta child murders. Number 10. Ed Edwards, a dark past. Ed Edwards was no stranger to crime. Born in 1933, he led a life marred by violence and deceit, committing his first known crime in the 1950s. What if his early criminal activities were just a prelude to something far more sinister? Edwards' life was a series of thefts, scams, and eventually murders, painting a picture of a man who thrived on manipulation and brutality. His criminal record spans decades, showing a consistent pattern of escalation from petty crimes to heinous acts of violence. Edwards' dark past is crucial in understanding the depths of his depravity and his potential involvement in the Atlanta child murders. His extensive criminal history set the stage for a career marked by increasingly severe offenses, each more shocking than the last. Could his early actions have been warning signs of the horrors to come? What do you think? Number 9. The Unsolved Murders. The Atlanta child murders remain one of the most haunting series of unsolved crimes in American history. Between 1979 and 1981, at least 28 children and young adults, predominantly African American, were found murdered. Could Ed Edwards have been lurking in the shadows, evading capture while spreading fear and sorrow? The official narrative attributes these murders to Wayne Williams, who was convicted in 1982. However, doubts persist about whether Williams was truly responsible for all the killings. Edwards' presence in the region during this time raises chilling questions about his possible connection. The unresolved nature of these cases continues to cast a shadow over Atlanta, with many still seeking justice for the victims. How many other unsolved cases could Edwards be linked to, hiding in plain sight? Number 8. The Connection, Edwards in Atlanta. Edwards was known to travel extensively across the United States, often using fake identities to avoid detection. What if Edwards' transient lifestyle allowed him to commit crimes across multiple states without raising suspicion? During the period of the Atlanta child murders, Edwards was reportedly in the region. His movements aligned disturbingly well with the timeline of the murders, suggesting a possible connection. Edwards' nomadic existence and ability to blend into different communities made him a master of evasion. His presence in Atlanta during the critical period of the murders cannot be overlooked when considering alternative suspects. Did Edwards' ability to vanish contribute to his continued spree of terror? Comment. Number 7. A killer's modus operandi. Edwards had a distinct modus operandi that involved luring victims with promises of work or assistance before brutally killing them. Could his pattern of deception and murder match the methodology seen in the Atlanta child murders? Many of the Atlanta victims were taken from familiar surroundings, suggesting they were lured by someone they trusted or found persuasive. Edwards' history of manipulation fits this pattern disturbingly well. His ability to gain the trust of his victims before striking reveals a calculated and sinister mind at work. The parallels between Edwards' known crimes and the methods used in the Atlanta murders add weight to the theory of his involvement. Could the same tactics used in his known crimes link him directly to the unsolved murders? Comment below. Number 6. The Zodiac connection. Some theories suggest that Edwards may have been the infamous Zodiac killer, whose identity remains unknown. Imagine if one man was behind multiple legendary murder sprees, eluding capture each time. The Zodiac killer's cryptic communications and taunting of police bear similarities to Edwards' own tendencies to manipulate and control. If Edwards was indeed the Zodiac, his connection to the Atlanta child murders becomes even more plausible, showcasing a pattern of heinous activity spanning decades. The possibility of Edwards being the Zodiac killer links him to another set of unsolved mysteries. further complicating the narrative of his criminal career. Could the same mind that taunted California authorities have struck fear into the heart of Atlanta? Number 5, the role of DNA evidence. In recent years, advancements in DNA technology have solved many cold cases, but the Atlanta child murders remain unresolved. What if DNA evidence could finally reveal Edward's true involvement? Although Wayne Williams's conviction relied heavily on fiber evidence, DNA testing was not available at the time. Revisiting these cases with modern forensic techniques could potentially link Edwards to the crimes, providing the closure that has eluded investigators for decades. The use of DNA evidence has revolutionized criminal investigations, offering new hope in cases that seemed unsolvable. The potential to uncover definitive proof of Edwards' involvement is a tantalizing prospect for both law enforcement and the victims' families. Could DNA be the key to unlocking this decades-old mystery? Number 4, Edwards' confessions. Before his death in 2011, Edwards made several confessions to various crimes, some of which remain unverified. Could these confessions hold the key to unraveling the mystery of the Atlanta child murders? Edwards' willingness to admit to numerous crimes raises the possibility that he may have alluded to the Atlanta killings indirectly or through veiled references. Analyzing his confessions for patterns or mentions of locations and dates could provide crucial links. Edwards' confessions were often inconsistent, adding to the challenge of discerning the truth. However, his admissions still offer a potential pathway to understanding his full criminal scope. Could his final confessions contain hidden truths about his involvement in the Atlanta murders? Number 3, the FBI's interest. The FBI's involvement in the investigation of the Atlanta child murders suggests a level of complexity and importance. What if federal authorities have long suspected a deeper conspiracy involving Edwards? The FBI's extensive files on Edwards, combined with their ongoing interest in the Atlanta cases, indicate that there may be undisclosed connections or evidence that have yet to be revealed. The federal interest underscores the national significance of the case and the potential implications of uncovering the true perpetrator. The continued scrutiny by federal agencies highlights the enduring quest for justice and truth in these tragic cases. How deep does the FBI's knowledge of Edwards' activities go? And could they hold the key to resolving this mystery? Number 2, the psychological profile. Profilers have often described the Atlanta child murderer as someone with a deep-seated need for control and a propensity for manipulation. Does this psychological portrait match Edwards' known behavior and criminal profile? Edwards exhibited a profound need to dominate and deceive, traits that align with the suspected psychological makeup of the Atlanta child murderer. Understanding the psychological motivations behind Edwards' crimes could shed light on his potential role in these unsolved murders. The psychological parallels between Edwards and the profile of the Atlanta killer strengthen the argument for his involvement. Could delving into his psyche provide the answers we've been seeking? Thus, what do you think? Number 1, the quest for truth. The Atlanta child murders have left an indelible scar on the community, with families still seeking answers. What if uncovering the truth about Edwards could finally bring peace to those affected by these heinous crimes? The quest for truth involves re-examining all available evidence, pursuing new leads, and using modern technology to uncover connections that were previously overlooked. Resolving these cases could provide closure and justice, and potentially reveal Edwards as the true culprit. The pursuit of truth is not just about solving a historical mystery, but about honoring the memory of the victims and delivering justice for their families. Could this relentless search for answers finally bring the justice so many have longed for? Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Ed Edwards and the Atlanta child murders. If you found this investigation compelling, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel,